So I believe that this should be the last major difference or addition to this version of the game. The item card shop. No longer do you have to go back and redo levels if you want to get an item card. You can just outright buy them. I'm hoping that this game isn't so much forcing us to use this, because I'd rather not, in all honesty, because I'm just so used to having to get these manually instead of just having to getting to buy them. But that being said, the amount of levels we have to go back and do just to get the every reward is incredibly high, and I want to say that if this was the Wii U version, the item cards would have replenished by now, but they haven't. But I don't know, we'll kind of have to see. Also on the topic of, from the previous episode of, thingy thing, item, the character costumes, I should say, I'm still going to go on and use the Master Quest costumes that we've unlocked. Although there was one exception that I wanted to know where it is exactly, like what it is exactly, because it's named differently. That being Phi's boss version of her standard outfit. I'm not sure if we did get that in Master Quest, or if for some reason they changed the name of it. But yeah, because we still have to come back here a second time, also I should probably, before I forget, note what the Skulltula conditions are. Please don't tell me this is the harpies for Agitha right off the bat. It would be nice, but still. Okay. I was kind of wanting to show off the fact that you could see what keepers have chest in them, but apparently not. That's not a thing we can do. Come over here, defeat this base. We'll take over this base. I feel like this is just a reskinned, like a combined saved the warriors sort of thing. Also, I should really be checking the Skulltula conditions. Okay, yeah, I'll do that now. Warrior info, Skulltulas. Okay, I was gonna say this is the whole bread and butter thing, but no, it's enemy keeps. It seems like the thing is 40% of our health. Okay. So, that's fun. What's the thingy thing? But yeah, I feel like unless it's kind of heavily required, I won't be using the item card shop. Just because, like, I don't really feel like it's necessary. Plus, you know, that grinding the item cards does kind of allow us to kind of give us more time to grind out weapons that we might need. So I'm fairly sure, fairly sure that you can obtain a tier 3 weapon after a tier 2 weapon even if you haven't unlocked it yet. Because I believe that Agitha here has a tier 2 weapon despite not having it, or like, despite this being the level we unlock her tier 2. Because of course I did kind of go ahead and unlock most of the tier 3s. Or the tier 3s that we had access to, that is. So I would not be surprised, but I'm fairly sure. Fairly sure. That thing. Completely forgot what I was about to say. That is a problem. Just ever so slightly. I'm assuming they are talking about a different thing. Oh well, whatever. Right, I was going to talk about I'll talk about it briefly, only in the sense that you can give your fairies skills, which you can use as items. Honestly, I would say the best item is, or like the best fairy skill to have is probably anything to do with magic. What I've got on currently is magic bonds, and that is pretty much the higher a bond you have between you and your fairy, the more magic you can gain from it, from using it. Of course, you kind of gain a bond, strengthening a bond with your fairy by having, or by giving it food. Could be wrong, but I'm fairly sure you can also strengthen a fairy's bond by refreshing it, pretty much prestiging it, essentially, like that sort of thing. Okay. Okay, that's nice. Okay, where is the Skulltula? Okay, over there. Okay, this is going to be interesting because I am listening to the game audio via my capture recording software. Only problem with that is that it's a bit delayed. Just ever so slightly. Oh no, right. Okay, cool, it's right here. Because we do have to show off the A rank reward and the Skulltula, I will just kind of go ahead and end the level now. But yeah, I think that's everything I would kind of like to mention, especially for this game, for this version, I should add. So with that being said, I think just going towards topics that I'd like to mention. We'll talk about really words. First of them is shiny hunting. Because like a few weeks ago, I was finally able to finish off a hunt that I can kind of easily call my longest recorded hunt, in terms of hours, that is. That being a shiny Darkrai from Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. Specifically Brilliant Diamond. Because I am planning on doing a little bit of a living shiny dex in Legends Arceus, including the legendaries, and of course you have to get the legendaries in other games for that. So yeah, that was the thing. It's kind of like to note that the hunt went so long that I was kind of thinking that the game had like been patched and Darkrai had been shiny locked for some reason. I don't entirely know why. Okay, I know we have like barely seen this level hype, but I'm sick of seeing it already. Like, it's weird that like that was our first vanilla level. Really? That level? Like, the 8th level we've done was a vanilla. I don't know, I'm kind of thinking that the 3DS version, well, the 3DS maps might be a little bit more sing, or might have a lot more special levels to them, maybe. I don't know, maybe they might just be showing off a new level type, and then as we go on, the balance of special to vanillas kind of balances out. Maybe, I'm hoping it does. Which feels weird, because like you wouldn't really expect me to like be wanting vanilla levels, but they're fun and they do kind of let me talk about topics for a longer time. And plus I can kind of like zone out a little bit more than I can with these levels. Just because. But yeah, the reason I say Darkrai is my longest recorded hunt in terms of hours is because I did shiny hunt Ho-Oh in Omega Ruby, and that one took a bit. Just not sure how long it took actually, because I didn't really take note of just how long it was, and plus I'm fairly sure I did do it within, like on multiple DSs. Like not double hunting it, but like I might have started it on my regular 3DS and then continued it on in my new 3DS or something. I'm not entirely sure. So like I'm not entirely sure how much time I spent on the Ho-Oh hunt, but like it was quite a bit. Like I will not be surprised if it did end up going over odds by quite a large margin. But yeah, and despite that, I am currently. I know I probably shouldn't be doing this, but I'm kind of splitting my attention like 3 ways. Between 3 different hunts. One of them being the hunting for Shiny Dracovish for my Swords Bad quest, and shiny hunting the rare spawns in the Distortions. And I'd love to talk. Like, I kind of think the Space Jam's Distortion hunts are going to be something, as I'm starting in the Obsidian Fieldlands, and I guess I'm on phase 2. I say that as a I actually found my target before I started hunting this, and I still want to do it because I love to this is pretty much saying, hey, okay. You know what, yeah, let's go down this way. why not? Let's continue using Tetra, I think. Quickly look out. I forget what her or what the 3000 things are. I am not sure. But yeah, I'm still continuing on to do it because I will need a shiny Weavile for my living decks, shiny living decks, and I'm kind of hoping I find a shiny Weavile at this point. I don't know, something. Also because the thingy thing. The unlock for this level has kind of already been done. I'm thinking that I will kind of skip the revisit sort of thing, just because you don't exactly need to do it. You know, like we've already done it. We don't need to do it again, right? But I will still be trying for the A rank. Don't get that twisted. But yeah. Okay, that's a bit odd. There's 2 fairies, but there's only 1 barrier base as of now. That is. Yeah. Phase 3 I did on thing. So I just want to check how much damage I'm taking. I can take 29. Where is the berry specialist? Over there. Okay. Yeah. Phase 1 was my 3rd space-time distortion of the hunt, or that accounted. Because since starting the hunt, I did kind of complete, or like, I did kind of get together a Pokédex. Yeah, get together the Pokédex just so I can get the shiny Anemoris from a while ago. And of course, to do that, I did have to kind of go through a few space-time distortions in the Obsidian Fields, although that wasn't too eventful, only because I didn't get a single shiny then, and I've now since done a total of 26 space-time distortions, and I found no shinies. I mean, yeah, I don't know how many exactly, or how many Pokemon exactly you can get per distortion, like what the rough estimate is, but like, I mean, still, for having a 99% or 0.9% completed or perfected Pokédex, you'd think that I was able to find at least one more shiny. Like that's even with prolonging the time I spent in the space-time distortion. Like, I'm not even doing the thing where I find 3 rare spawns and then ditching. I don't know. It's like the only other like major experience I have with space-time distortion hunting is in the Mylands, and while I did get 10 phases into finding a shiny Cyndaquil there, I don't remember like each phase taking as long as it did. Like, as long as this feels like, you know? Did the guy do the thing? Okay, well, we don't exactly need fairy magic at the moment. Thing. Like, I don't know, it just feels weird, you know? And the third hunt I've kind of got my attention to is shiny hunting not Mesprit, as of in BDSP. And I'm just like, I don't know, the previous Lake Spirit or Lake Guardian I found was insanely underodds. I'm kind of hoping for another underodds hunt only because Darkrai took so long. But, you know, whatever. That's the thing. I don't know, I'm kind of hunting it casually, but like I'm just trying to figure out if I want to record it or not. Only because like I don't want it to have the Lake Guardians be their own separate, like, have the thing for each everything. It's a weird way to describe it, like having 3 videos for each Lake Guardian. But then again, I'm not entirely sure how I want to do or format that video. If I did decide to have them all be, like, have a compilation video for those 3. Also, speaking of which, I have already found Miss Spirit, but like I'm thinking that I would love to do a roaming hunt for Miss Spirit. Maybe. I don't know. Is kind of the thing. Here is the thing about this level. We are a long ways away from the A rank in terms of KOs. I'm not. That's also what skill did we just unlock? Okay, nice. We will do more damage depending on how much health, health we have. I think that's also a pretty useful ability or skill to have. Yeah, that's the thing. I don't know if this is a 1200 or 1600. That is an issue. How are we doing on time videos? 7 minutes, that should be fine. I don't think I ever decided on what I wanted to do for thingy thing. On the situations where we do fail the A rank based on KOs. I only say that because there is a chance that it could be 1600, you know? I'm not really willing to take that chance, you know, but I mean, I don't want the level to be overly too long just because. Okay, well, I mean, we'll get to see if this was an A rank, regardless. Right, it's gonna be so weird, kind of like trying to remember that we can't skip the thingy thing. Also, yeah, technically this was the third level in a the third episode in a row that we unlocked a character. Although that being said, okay, cool. It wasn't out. It was 1200. That being said, we did kind of already have the character that we would have unlocked. Okay, cool. So here is more or less the thing. I'm hoping that once we get another item tile of the same type, the others will replenish. I'm hoping that's the case. And sure, why not we'll do this one? It should be quick. We are using Tetra after all. I'll use that one. And you know what? Let's use Toon Link. Also, I'm fairly sure that any character you have secondary won't gain any levels at all. I don't think. Which, you know, kind of sucks, but I will take it. Pretty much take whatever I can get. Okay. Right, no, yeah, this is just a horn counter. But before we do that, let's get Toon Link over to where I am, and then we can carry on. You know the thing about it? Despite the overall time being increased, has the arrowing time been increased also? I don't know if it has. It would make sense it has to kind of go with the more lenient time, but I mean, to be honest, with the amount of KUs you can get pretty easily, I wouldn't be surprised if they in fact just dropped the aiming time to kind of reflect the level, I guess. I will have to say. But yeah, just really hoping that we aren't forced to use the uncut shop. Just because then that makes rupees even more tighter. Although that being said, for the moment I'm not too worried about collecting good weapons for my warriors, only because of course this version of the game did increase. I'm just thinking if it was this version. If this version specifically added the extra tier of 4+. No, wait, no. 3DS version did. I'm fairly sure that it's the DLC characters for 3DS version didn't get the 4+, but this version did add them in. I'm fairly sure that's the case. Fairly sure. I will have to see. But yeah, right, no, we still have a back end to do. Okay, skipping over this. Skipping over this. Skipping over this. I kind of don't want this to end, you know? Okay, I'll look ahead. Okay. I believe this is the thing where we need the Wind Waker. What is going on here? Okay, I'm just... I don't know, do I bite the bullet and just go ahead and use Uncut Chop? Though, I'm gonna try something first. But yeah, we'll go back over this level, so I won't kind of show off the level 2 since we have seen them again, I'll only do that for the weapons we haven't seen, you know? But yeah, no. I'll let post-commentary Alties do his thing. But yeah, go ahead and doing this level now again. Well, as this level was fairly easy to get the second Skulltula in, as it did just require something that you should be doing while aiming for the A rank. Although, quickly before I move on to what I want to talk about, I should probably mention that I want to say that you have to have control over 5 or more bases, or take control over 5 or more bases, when the first mission finishes. If you don't, then you won't get the second Skulltula. I believe that's how that works. But anyway, because this level was so easy to do, I think I might just give you guys a little bit of a refresher on some of the terms I made for this series, so that you can just understand what I'm meaning when I use my own creative terms. First off is the bread and butter Skulltula. Not that this was one. Which is getting the air rank requirement for KOs before you can take a certain, before you take a certain amount of damage. It's referred to this as well from memory. That was the Skulltula requirement that they were all previously, or most of them. I believe I even have an episode called the bread and butter Skulltula, which is why. But yeah, the second term is a vanilla level, which is a full-on level like this in which you play on the complete version of a map, not just a chunk of a map. There is an enemy army with typically another warrior as its general, in which you have to take down after completing a mission objective, which can vary greatly. And as mentioned before, the golden Skulltulas do appear on these types of missions, and they won't appear on anything else. And the mission levels, the vanilla levels, are typically the majority mission type in an adventure mode map. From memory. Could be different. Which leaves the rest of the level types, which I've dubbed special levels as well. They are pretty much anything that isn't a vanilla level, really, as well. There are quite a lot of different objectives you have to do within them, and there's even more that do get introduced in later on maps, so yeah. A quick one to reference would be the Horde encounters. Those are the ones in which you're given a... Those are the ones in which you're tasked with defeating hundreds of enemies within a set time limit. Call them that in a reference to the Horde encounters in the games Pokemon X and Y. As well, they do appear in groups or hordes, if you will, and you have to bounce between each to get the job done. Which is not to be mistaken with the Rack Up UK accounts, which do have a similar premise, but in those you are given a set amount of time to defeat as many enemies as you can, instead of just having a set goal of enemies to defeat as quickly as you can. I believe there's more terms I have, but I don't think they're going to be quite relevant in this, and when they are, I might bring them up again. I definitely think I might start off an episode by going over these again, just so they're more prominent and I can point to like a proper thing. But yeah, I don't remember what I did next episode, but yeah, until then, that has been Aussie.